Camp 14, the most horrible place in North Korea. This video is by Fern. Man, we've watched a Fern video before. Always dropping high quality content that we could always learn something new from. So we're going to give this a watch. This is the most horrible place in North Korea, and it is called Camp 14. Let's get right into it. If you're new, hit that sub button for your boy. Drop a like. Let's go.
Class is about to start for these 40 school kids. Like every week, the teacher starts searching everyone's pockets. This time, he finds something.
I saw your comments. Rebound.
On a little
I got
girl.
you.
5 kernels of grain.
What?
The teacher snaps and commands the girl to come up front. She has to kneel down on the hard concrete floor. With a wooden stick, he strikes her on the head. Again,
Head?
and again, and again, and again. Her classmates watch in silence. The beating goes on until the little girl collapses.
Oh, no, bro.
Afterwards,
That's not right,
her classmates carry her home.
That's not
The
right.
same night, she dies.
The same night?
The little girl and the other 39 children are all inmates.
Wait, for the 4 grains of rice, she just got unalived for that? You gotta be kidding me. For the 4 grains of rice, she just got unalived for that.
In one of North Korea's deadliest prison camps, Camp 14.
Comparisons have been drawn to the Nazi death camps, to the Soviet Gulag. You know, they're accurate, and in their own way, they're different.
A lawless detention facility hidden in the mountains of Kaeshan, a place where people are imprisoned for the crimes of their parents. Once you end up here, you will most likely die here.
This is truly a space that is outside humanity, let me say that.
Prisoners are forced to work under inhumane conditions. The smallest mistake can cost them their lives. Escape is almost impossible. Only a handful make it out,
What?
risking everything on deadly routes. In North Korea, there are several of these death camps, and the regime has kept them a secret for decades.
Unalived, bro. Like, literally
But through the
they killed her,
relentless work of human rights organizations,
Crazy.
satellite imagery, and reports from survivors, we can have a glimpse at these
bro.
facilities.
Locked in.
Why are people being sent to Camp 14? What does daily life look like inside its walls? What horrors do the inmates face? And how do people actually get out? This is the story of the most horrific
No,
prison
that's actually
camp in
crazy.
North Korea.
It's sad. Fern.
This story is based on Escape from Camp 14 by Blaine Harden.
Okay.
One former prisoner of Camp 14 later changed parts of his story. Every time you see this symbol, it marks those revisions. If you want to know more about the exact changes and the reasons behind them, we recommend reading this article. Since North Korea denies the existence of these camps, independent verification is not possible.
They cover it up so well. I don't know how they get away with
Shin
it. bro.
Dong-hyuk
This
is just a young
I don't
boy
get it.
when he witnesses the little girl being punished for having food in her pocket.
She had
Shin
5.
has no doubt she deserved it. After all, she stole food. And at Camp 14, stealing means death. He doesn't question it. He knows nothing else. The camp rules are his reality. Shin was born in Camp 14, but his parents didn't fall in love. They were assigned to each other by prison guards. Intimacy between men and women is strictly forbidden. If a woman becomes pregnant without permission, both she and the baby are shot.
What?
In Camp 14, there is only one way to have a child: promotion.
Promotion? You have to get All right, come on now. This is not real. This is insane.
Those who work hard and, more importantly,
This is very
snitch on
real, which
others
is very
may be
sad,
granted
but-
a reward marriage. This is how Shin Dong-hyuk and his older brother Shin Hee-gyun come into the world. But they don't grow up as a real family. Their mother never talks about the past. Shin has no clue why his parents were imprisoned, and it probably wouldn't matter anyway.
It's
Right.
all about suspicion. You know, you don't have to be an anti-regime character. But if you're suspected of being anti-regime, of being a wrongdoer, a wrong thinker, of having engaged in wrong associations, they will send you to the camp.
This is Greg Scarlatoiu. He's president and CEO of HRNK. the Washington-based Committee on Human Rights in North Korea. For years, Greg and his team have been investigating human rights abuses at these camps. Like many others, Shin will most likely stay in Camp 14 for the rest of his life, even though he never committed a crime. This is the house Shin and his mother live in. Along with his mother's promotion came slightly better housing.
So it looks like
They share it with 3 other families and sleep on the floor.
But they share it with 3 other families, and they're sleeping on the floor. Yeah, it is very interesting. It is. We should, yo, Sai, number 1, you should send me any of those videos that you find, bro, that you want me to watch for sure. You should do that. Number 2, we should watch a video of this one lady. I think she's actually been now found that she was lying about most of it. But she was on Rogan before. She's had some very interesting stories about the life of North Koreans. Don't know how accurate she is, though. I think she's been found pretty unreliable recently. But who knows? Yeah, we should definitely look more into it. I love, bro, North Korea is so freaking interesting, bro. I love watching videos about it. Sorry.
There's a single light bulb in the kitchen. Electricity works for just 2 hours a day. There's no running water, no furniture, no shower, and barely enough food to survive. The building is part of a model village, one of many. Camp 14 is estimated to cover around 153 square kilometers, almost 3 times the size of Manhattan. It is secured by a 60-kilometer fence, patrol paths, barracks, guard posts, and checkpoints. The whole area.
I was gonna say, hold up, it's so big.
Paths, barracks, guard posts, and checkpoints.
I was gonna say, it's so big. How do they maintain to control everybody in this area without like anyone escaping or anything? But it seems like, hey, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know. Can you guys see my mouse? Seems like right here might be a little weak spot. Right here's a little weak spot. If you can make it somehow, I don't know. I don't know what the maybe I don't know. These look like mountains. Actually, you probably have to climb mountains. I don't know. This sucks, man. This actually would suck. 3 Manhattans just guarded. Cannot leave.
The whole area stretches from river valleys to mountain peaks. The wilderness and the Taedong River act as a natural barrier, an immense obstacle course separating the facility from the outside world. Little villages are scattered across the vast area, containing housing and working units.
These are sprawling facilities. They're very large facilities. So at some of these facilities, you see farming, agriculture going on. You see some of these facilities that are adjacent to coal mines or other types of mineral exploitation.
Researching and animating topics like these take a lot of time. We worked for months on just this video with the help of more than a dozen people. And this wouldn't be possible without our sponsor, part of your ship. Being easy to grab, click you on the railroad and goes every day. Creates its own electricity. The camp has its own railroad network and generates its own electricity. And it also has a school. This is where Shin goes every day. His teacher wears a guard's uniform, carries a weapon, and teaches obedience above all else. Camp rules are brutal. There are 10 of them. Even the smallest violation can lead to execution. Shin memorizes them all. Rule 1. Any witness to an attempted escape who fails to report it will be shot immediately. Rule 3. Anyone who steals or conceals any foodstuffs will be shot immediately. Rule 5. Anyone who holds or hides a fugitive's possessions, conspires with him, or fails to report him will be shot immediately. The guards enforce the rules without mercy.
내가 총을 꾸려서 뭐 쏘거나 해도 한나무
He didn't feel the slightest bit guilty, even though he killed people so often. When he had shot someone, we thought it was the right thing to do to protect our country. That's why I thought it was normal. You're shooting a fucking 3rd grader for having... You're beating a 3rd grader to death for having 3 pieces of rice, bro. You're unaliving these kids because they saw someone, or they may know someone who tried to escape or wants to escape, and they just know about it. And somehow now they're unalive. Like, bro, come on, man. You're not treated as human beings anymore. You're treated like animals. I could do anything with the prisoners, but I felt like prisoners. This isn't whether to kill them or let them live. It was completely up to me. We got beef.
Across North Korea, there are different types of detention facilities. The worst of them are called Kwanliso. Camp 14 is one of them.
Damn.
It's also called a total control zone.
People
Damn.
never get out of those. You know, they just waste away. They get killed by this vicious cycle of malnutrition and forced labor.
Shin's mother has to work the rice fields, 10 to 15 hours of hard labor every day. If she meets her quota, she receives food, just enough to survive the night and make it through the next day.
North Korea is all about production targets. If you don't meet them, and probably you will not meet them,
Right.
you'll get less food.
They literally set like these, outstanding expectations, like things they know you're probably not gonna be able to do, just so you don't aren't able to get food and water and basically live, bro. Like they're that's a fucking sick game they play.
More work, less food, more work, and that's how you waste away and die. That's, the truly tragic story at these camps.
From the moment Shin starts school, his life is split between the classroom and hard
That's
labor in the
crazy.
coal mine.
Let's go.
Long
Wow.
work days are made worse by a constant gnawing hunger. Before school, Shin often eats his mother's portion while she's still out in the fields.
Wow.
She beats him for it, but he does it anyway. To him, she's not a source of love or care. She's a rival in the fight for every meager scrap of food.
What?
This is Shin's meal, served 3 times a day for his entire prison life. If he makes a mistake, his portion is
Corn, soup, and a piece of grass, lettuce.
cut in half as punishment. Sometimes he and the other inmates catch rats, the only source of meat in Camp 14.
What?
For Shin, this isn't as much as a nightmare. It's normal life. He has never seen the world beyond the barbed wire. Unlike this man.
Kim Young.
Kim Young is in his mid-40s when he's brought to Camp 14. He knows the world outside very well. In fact, he was a high-ranking military officer and vice president of a state-owned company. In his former life, he enjoyed culture, a chauffeur, and all the benefits of being a government employee. Now he's also
a
forced to work in the
government
coal mines. Kim didn't break any laws to get here. His parents did. In North Korea, this form of collective punishment is called yunjoje, guilt by association.
Yo, what?
Up to 3 generations can be punished for crimes of family members. When Kim was a child, his father and brother were accused of spying for the United States, enough to execute them. After that, Kim was brought to an orphanage under a new name. It took more than 40 years until someone found out about his true heritage. Even Kim himself wasn't aware of the supposed crimes his family allegedly committed.
What? He didn't even
There's
know.
absolutely no judicial process. This is extrajudicial punishment. They'll just, take you away in the middle of the night, together with your family members. You just disappear. That's how it goes.
대낮에 잡아가는 건 없어요. 다 밤에 그냥 원래 그냥 어느 순간에
They never did
와서
arrest one a day, they only
싹
did
다
them at
쓸어
nights.
가고
Without the neighbors noticing.
정치범 수용소에
The entire
가서도
family
그
was brought to
가족들은
camp for political
우리가 뭘
prisoners.
잘못해서
The
왔는지
family members had no
그걸
idea.
모른다는 거죠.
Fear is the most powerful tool for prison guards to keep inmates in line. During Kim's time in Camp 14, a total of 25 inmates are executed. One day, he witnesses a fellow prisoner being killed for collecting chestnuts that had fallen from a tree. Kim spends most of his days underground, hours and hours of endless work with no sunlight and no mercy. Kim struggles. He's never faced labor like this before. Mistakes are inevitable, and every one of them is met with the punishment of a guard who never leaves his side. One day, a guard strikes Kim with the butt of his gun till he falls unconscious. For the next 2 days, he only receives half his meals.
Wow.
After more than 2 months of living like this in Camp 14, Kim decides to end it. Following a long day of work, he steps into the elevator of a mining shaft. The metal cage ascends until it reaches a height of around 2,000 feet. He pulls the safety pin, and the elevator falls. But Kim survives, and the vicious cycle goes.
Oh, man. What? What? Oh my gosh, bro. Imagine trying to kill yourself. And you, bro, you have to go through that horrific action. And then, bro, that's so sad, bro. Then he has to just go right back to doing what he was doing. Kim Jong-un liked the Bulls. Then Dennis Rodman was over there. He was loving Dennis. He was loving him some Dennis. But nah, man, this is crazy. Buddy tried to really unalive himself, and it didn't work. So now he literally has to go back to work.
On. When Shin is about 6 or 7, the camp's borders shift. His village is merged into the neighboring Camp 18, just across the river. It's said to be slightly less brutal than Camp 14, but for Shin, life hardly changes at all. Shin is 15 and has moved out from his mother's home. He now lives with his father. One day, a teacher allows Shin to spend the night at his mother's house, a reward for good behavior. When he arrives, another guest awaits. It's his brother, Shin Hee-gyun. The 21-year-old works at the prison cement factory, a couple of miles away. Shin doesn't like him at all.
What?
In the middle of the night, Shin wakes up from his sleep. He hears voices from the kitchen. His brother is talking about escape. His mother seems to support him. Shin's first instinct, he has to report this. He goes to a nearby dorm room and wakes a friend to ask for advice. The friend urges Shin to tell the guards. They go to the school's night guard on duty and report the escape plot. Shin also signs a false police statement, claiming he saw his mother and brother commit murder. This piece of evidence ultimately leads to an execution order.
Wow, he's lying.
The guards
though.
take Shin to an execution site next to the Taedong River. A crowd has gathered to watch. They drag out his mother and his
Small
brother.
crowd.
They're killed in front of Shin's eyes.
What the hell? What the hell?
In 1996, Kim Young is transferred to Camp 18. To him, this place feels like heaven. The labor conditions are slightly better, and to his surprise, he reunites with his 70-year-old mother, who is also a prisoner here. But the violence and abuse don't stop. One day, he has to witness how guards beat up his mother and force her to do manual labor. His mother is certain they will both die in the camp. Even though it means risking his life, she urges Kim to leave her behind and escape.
I don't think Buddy's capable of escaping.
Escaping from a North Korean death camp is almost impossible.
Yeah, what?
You know, these are highly protected facilities. You're talking barbed wire, walls, armed guards, intersecting lines of fire. We're talking machine guns. Very, very difficult to escape. I mean, it's, difficult to escape a detention facility in any civilized country, imagine North Korea.
Kim Young quietly studies his surroundings. He observes, waits, and starts thinking. He lays out multiple escape plans, but none of them seem doable to him. Another hard day of work. The prisoners are loading coal onto a train. Suddenly, they spot something. Grain scattered across the bottom of a train car. It must have transported food before. The scene explodes into chaos. Prisoners drop everything, desperately looking for the tiniest speck of food. The guards start shouting, but no one listens. Kim discovers a narrow space beneath a metal panel in the floor of a coal wagon. He squeezes inside, and as the train rumbles out of Camp 18, he rides with it. Hours later, the train reaches Goan Station at around 4 a.m. We don't know exactly how, but Kim manages to crawl out of his hideout and disappears into the night.
He escaped.
Kim successfully escaped Camp 18,
What?
but his path to freedom is still very long.
What does he have to do?
After finding a worker's uniform, he changes clothes and starts a treacherous journey that will take him many months through China and Mongolia to South Korea, where he'll eventually seek
China, Mongolia. Gotta get to.
asylum. Escaping a prison is one thing. Escaping the country is another. We made a whole video on how to escape North Korea. Link is in the
We're
description.
watching that video next.
Shin also manages to escape from Camp 18 twice, both times by crawling under a fence. Both times he's recaptured. After his second attempt,
Damn.
Shin is sent back to Camp 14 and is thrown into a special detention center,
Ah,
a place with only one purpose: torture.
dead.
그냥 뭐 매만 맞고.
I still have the
That's
scars
Shin?
of my torture and the burns.
그랬으면은 뭐 내가 걱정이더라.
That's Shin done.
Look at my arms.
내가 예능 사람들처럼
My arms aren't normal.
다
Bent
Oh!
and deformed.
다른 사람들 거꾸로 너 원래
They broke his fucking elbows?
Before I was tortured, my arms were straight.
다 이렇게 꺾고 나는 이렇게 또 뭐 몸도 그렇고.
When I was tortured, my arms were tied up with a rope and pulled backwards.
그러다 보니까 조절이 이렇게 팔이 계속 휘는
That
거예요.
made them more and more bent.
그럼 이런 거 샤워.
I'm filled with anger when I stand in front of the mirror and look at my body after a shower.
이런 모습들이기 때문에.
Poor guy.
After 4 weeks of torture, he's thrown into a pitch black cell. No windows and barely enough space to lie down.
Oh my god.
There he'll spend the next 6 months. After his
6
release,
months.
Shin is thrown back to the general prison population. He has to work in the coal mine, the farm fields, and eventually in a garment factory. This is where he meets Park Young-chul, a man unlike anyone Shin has ever seen. Born into an elite family, Park once held a prestigious job and had seen the world beyond North Korea's borders. By then, Shin already knows he's on the execution list. With Park at his side, he begins planning what will be Shin's third and final escape. Shin and Park are assigned to do some woodwork up in the mountains, along with some prisoners. They're chopping wood near the outer fence. The camp's fence is around 10 feet high and lined with high-voltage barbed wire. The next guard tower is a quarter of a mile away. Shin watches the patrols. There are long gaps between them where no guard is close enough to spot the two. The plan is simple. Wait until dusk so that their footprints can't easily be traced in the snow. They slip through the high-voltage wires without touching them.
Okay.
As the sun sets, Shin and Park move closer to the fence. They hack branches, pretending to stack wood. Nobody notices them. Park hesitates. Shin's heart races.
There we go. Full
He grabs
fucking
Park's
send.
hand and they run. Shin slips. Park reaches the fence before him. He tries to squeeze his head between the two lowest wires and hits one of them. Park's body is not moving. The bottom wire bends under his weight, creating a narrow gap.
So he could
Shin
fit.
crawls over Park's body.
could fit.
He's almost past the fence when his legs slip, hitting one of the wires.
Was it her?
The voltage tears through him. His pants char, his skin burns from ankle to knee. But somehow he makes it through.
Oh, he made it.
Park's body lies dead on the fence. Shin runs without looking back for 2 hours straight until he realizes that he made it.
He did it.
He manages to cross the river to China, and after a journey of almost 2 years, he finally reaches South Korea.
2 years. Shin a goat.
These are all the prison camps that are most likely active in North Korea today. According to
14,
Greg
18,
Scarlett Toyu,
15, 16.
the camps are changing, and not for the better.
Damn.
Camps near the border have reportedly been moved further inland, likely to make escape even harder. And some new internal perimeters have appeared,
These dudes
possibly to isolate high-value prisoners.
Dude, they're literally just covering up every gap they had before. Like any escape, they just covered that up. Figured like, okay, now we're gonna try to we're gonna make it absolutely impossible for them to escape this way, this way, this way. They're just tightening up all the security measures.
The third development in terms of infrastructure, evolution and development has been the creation of watchtowers and what appears to be intersecting lines of fire around the camps. That would be meant to basically exterminate those who attempt to leave those camps.
For some camps, evidence is even scarcer.
There's one camp that we know very little about, and that's Camp 16, 1-6. That's
20,000 prisoners, political prisoners. Oh my god.
very close to the Punggye-ri nuclear testing facility. And I have spoken with the South Korean nuclear scientists who said, look, we don't believe that prisoners are used in digging those tunnels for the nuclear tests, but it is very likely that they will be, used and abused while cleaning up after those nuclear tests.
The HRNK estimates that up to 120,000 people are currently held in North Korean prison camps. In fact, as a viewer of this video, you might know more about them than most North Koreans ever will.
That's
We
the
have to
craziest
remember
part,
that
bro.
these people are being tortured and maimed today. They were tortured and maimed yesterday, and the same will happen tomorrow.
Yeah.
So, I think it's a matter of moral,
What can we do,
ethical,
though? Like, what,
religious,
what can we
and
do?
political obligation to continue to maintain our interest in these issues.
Can't do anything.
This is Shin today. He
Shin.
gradually adjusted to a life in society and became a public speaker
How do
and
you-
advocate for human rights
So,
in North Korea.
Oh, we
In
gotta watch the video
2015,
now, you
Shin
see.
Dong-hyuk retracted parts of his story and admitted to changing certain key details
Detector Shin admits parts of the story are inaccurate. Aw, what? Now, what?
in Escape from Camp 14. The book's author published a detailed statement outlining every change Shin had made. According to Shin, some memories were simply too painful and others too shameful to share truthfully at the time. This is a common reaction for victims of
okay.
torture, who often cope by suppressing or distorting their accounts of what really happened. Greg Scarlatoiu and others
Okay.
believe Shin's changes don't alter the fundamental truth
Fair,
of his
fair.
reports.
Was Shin Dong-hyuk a political prisoner? Yes, 100%. Okay, he spent some time both at Camp 14 and Camp 18, right across the river. Did he witness the execution of his mother and brother? Yes, he did. So the fundamental elements
Buddy.
of Shin Dong-hyuk's story did not change.
Shin's a goat, man.
Shin
Shin's a
bears the
goat.
scars, physical and psychological. They leave little doubt about the abuse and torture he endured.
Yeah, W Shin, man. Way to be able to tell this story, man. We're gonna look into more about Shin's story, see what got switched up and why it got switched. Probably goes into a little bit more detail about, what actually happened there and why he, wasn't so comfortable sharing, his initial experience and had to kind of cope in a way. So he changed some words up. We'll see what that's all about in the next video. If you guys enjoyed that one, make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Go check out Fern. Always dropping high quality content, man. W video, guys, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.